Hey guys, it's Dean. Welcome to ManFlow Yoga. This video is yoga for scoliosis. So we're going to focus on yoga postures to help you build strength in your core to prevent the curve from getting worse. And I'm going to show you how to work on the curve to accentuate the opposite direction and also prevent yourself from working deeper into the existing curve. If you have dextroscoliosis, that means that you have a curve that goes toward the right. It's typically in your mid upper back. We want to make sure that we side bend more toward the left. We also want to make sure that we twist more toward the right. If you have Levoscoliosis, this is when you have a curve in your lower back that goes toward the left. We want to make sure that we side bend more toward the right, but that we work on twisting more toward the left. So I'll remind you to do that throughout the workout. Mainly, we're going to really focus on strengthening your core and building as much strength as we can in a neutral position. Here we go. We're going to start on the ground with hands to thighs, and this is just a really great core strengthening exercise. If you have a block, grab a block, put it between your thighs. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. You're going to start by pressing your hands into your thighs and pushing your thighs back into your hands. As you do this, you'll feel the muscles in the fronts of your thighs and your hips start to work. You should also feel your abs working. Lift your shoulders toward the ceiling if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more. And again, really press your hands into your thighs, push your thighs back into your hands, and focus on breathing in and out of your nose. As you exhale, really squeeze your abs. One more breath here. And then take that block out, extend your left leg forward, reach your left arm down and back, and press your right hand into your thigh. Switch sides. Left hand presses into your left thigh, right leg extends out, right arm squeezes down. Make sure that your abs, your hips are neutral. Switch sides. Keep your chest up, keep your legs active. Switch sides. And then one more to each side. Make sure that your hips aren't moving as you do this. You want your hips, your core to stay straight. Last time, switch. And then relax. All right, feet on the floor. Press your feet into the ground. Squeeze your butt muscles, squeeze your thighs. Press down into your feet, lift your hips. And then check in with your hips here. You want to make sure that your hips are level. You don't want your left hip or your right hip above the other. Make sure that the weight is evenly distributed through your feet here, so you can kind of play around lifting one foot and then lifting the other foot, and then plant both feet. Make sure that you're using both legs now. Really squeeze your glutes here. Try to keep your back flat. Don't make this a competition to get your chest as high as possible. Instead, focus on keeping your back straight and keeping your abs tight, keeping your thighs, your glutes working. It also helps to pull your shoulders forward with your feet. That way you'll get a little bit more hamstring engagement. If this is too difficult, you can also put a block just above your sacrum here. I don't want you to completely relax there. Continue to squeeze your glutes, continue to use your thighs, but if you need that block for a little bit of extra support, that's fine. All right, one more breath here. And then take that block out, or just release your hips down. Okay, we're gonna move on to your stomach here, continuing with core strengthening. Plant your hands, press your top of your head forward, lift your knees into a plank, squeeze your hands and your feet toward one another. If this hurts your hands, you can make your hands into fists. If that hurts your fist, you can hold on to bars or dumbbells or even blocks here to prevent wrist pain. Or just go down to your forearms. So lots of options here to make the plank work. We're just here for 2 more breaths. Make sure that your spine is straight. If you aren't sure whether it's straight or not, it's a good idea to record yourself. Not just for this routine, but for any routine, just so you can see what you look like. All right, go ahead and relax, knees down. And from here, we're gonna move into a bird dog. So I want your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, your spine neutral. Without moving your hips, extend your left arm forward and then bring your right leg straight back. So you're making a straight line from your right heel all the way to your extended left fingertips. Check in with your hips, make sure they're neutral, make sure they're straight. So you want to make sure that your back is flat. And breathe easily in and out of your nose. One more breath here. And release. Okay, just so you can kind of see, make sure that your back is flat here and so you get an idea of technique. We're going to switch sides. Bring your right arm out, and notice how my hips don't change when I move my right arm out and bring my left leg back, right? They stay completely motionless. You don't want to lift your left leg up and hike your other hip way up. So without moving your hips, bring your left leg straight back, press your heel back, straight line from your left heel through your extended right fingertips. Check in with your core, make sure it's straight. So I might even do a little bit of adjustment here to make sure that everything is neutral. There we go. And then here for one more breath. And you're going to feel your abs working a lot here. That's the goal. And release. Okay. Now we're going to go into cat-cow. And this is one of our first spinal mobility exercises. As you inhale, arch your back, pull your chest forward, look forward. And then as you exhale, bring your chin toward your throat, reach your tailbone down, round your back, press down through your hands, feel your shoulder blades separating, and then inhale, arch. So you're just moving back and forth between this extended or arched position and the flexed or rounded position with your back. As you're doing this, try to make sure that you're not over accentuating one side. So if you go to round your back and you look back and you notice that one hip is kind of off to the side there, do your best to correct it, make it neutral. And do your best to match the breathing with the movement. As you inhale, you're arching. As you exhale, you're rounding. All right, next exercise, going into side plank. This is where we want to account for the curve. So I'm going to start with my right forearm down, my knees stacked. This is level 1 variation of my side plank. From here we can go legs out here, staggering the feet. You can also stack your feet like so. Make sure that your torso is facing directly to the outside. Drive your hips up. Now, a word of caution here. If you have dextroscoliosis, if your curve goes to the right, I don't want you pressing as high as possible, because that's going to make sure that if you look at my body here, you'll see that I'm kind of leaning toward the right with my body, right? So we don't want to go as high as we can and accentuate that curve. Just one word of caution. If you have levoscoliosis, this is actually where you'll want to go the other way. If your curve goes to the left, you want to push yourself up high here to make sure that you're correcting that curve. All right, so about 30, 45 seconds here. Breathing in and out of your nose. And then release. All right, switching sides. So again, this time, if you have levoscoliosis, I want you to make sure you're not pressing as hard into this because we don't want to accentuate that curve. If you do have the curve toward the right though, notice that my body now is curving toward the left. So we do want to press the hips up as high as possible if you have a curve to the right, if you have dextroscoliosis. Different variations, we can stagger the feet or we can stack the feet, arms go up. Breathing in and out of your nose. You can also hug your left forearm and your feet toward one another to create a little bit more engagement through your core, through your obliques. One more breath. And release. From here, we're gonna go up to standing into a squat hold. If you have the block, would highly recommend using it. Put the block between your thighs. This is gonna be a pose where we emphasize neutral spine as much as possible, building hip, core, and spine strength. Make sure that your feet face straight forward. Insides of your feet are parallel to one another. Hips are neutral. Bring your butt down and back, arms out in front of you. Squeeze that block between your thighs. Check in with your stomach here. Make sure that your spine is neutral. You don't want one hip below the other. So doing our best to make your spine as neutral as possible. Your knees are gonna stay mostly back. It's not a problem if your knees go past your toes, but make sure that the weight stays in your hips. And the easiest way to do that is to keep your knees back. Back stays flat, squeeze your abs, shoulders relaxed. You can go a little bit lower with your hips to make this more challenging. Just make sure that you're staying in neutral alignment here, not one side, not toward the other, but right in the middle. And then go ahead and stand up, drive your hips forward at the top. And from here, we're going into a standing one leg balance. So really effective, really simple. Stand on your right foot, stand up as tall as you can, and then lift your left knee up to hip level. Press the top of your head toward the ceiling. Drive your left hand into your thigh. Press your left thigh back up into your hand, and then reach your right arm up. So this is exactly like the dead bug exercise that we did at the beginning on the ground, except now we're standing. If you need some help with balance here, put your right hand against a wall. Use something to help you balance. It's better to have proper technique with support than it is to have improper technique without support. So use external support for the balance if you need it. Really push down through your right hip here. Get as tall as you can. Press your hand into your thigh. One more breath. And then release. Switch sides. Stand on your left foot, up as tall as you can. Bring your right knee up to hip level. Drive down through your left foot. Press your right hand into your right thigh. Look at a non-moving point at eye level. Don't look at me because I move. And then bring your left arm up. Breathing slowly and controlled in and out of your nose. Again, get as tall as you can. Really push down through your left foot. Drive your right hand into your right thigh. Press your thigh back up into your hand. One more breath. And then release. All right, from here we're gonna go onto a low lunge and we're gonna work on twist here. So if you have dextroscoliosis here, we're gonna wanna work on twisting toward the right because that's gonna work against the curve. So we're gonna start with your right leg forward, left leg back, bring your knee down, press hard into both feet, bring your arms up. As you inhale, get longer. As you exhale, twist. If you have levoscoliosis here, so if your spine curves to the left, then we wanna make sure that we're just not twisting as deep. Inhale to bring your arms back up. Exhale, twist toward the right. 3 more of these on your own pace. Remember, if you have a curve toward the right, we really want to push ourselves here in this twist. That's what's going to help correct. If the curve is toward the left, don't push yourself as much. Worry more about strength here. Last one. Back up and release your hands. Switch sides. All right, now left leg is forward, right leg is back. So if you have levoscoliosis, now we're gonna work on going deeper into the twist. Dextroscoliosis, focus more on strength. Don't worry as much about getting deeper into it. Deep breath in. Exhale, twist. Left hand forward, right hand back. Keep the hips squared forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twist. Looking over toward the left. 3 more of these on your own pace. Whether you're twisting, whether you have one curve to the left or a curve to the right, you want to make sure that you're twisting with control and with strength. So really squeezing your abs, thinking about staying tall through your core, and you're just trying to move from the mid back up. So your low back, your core, your hips stay facing straight forward. Last twist. Back up, release your hands down, stand up, and then final moving posture here, standing side bend. Toes together, heels an inch apart. If this is uncomfortable, you can stand with your feet staggered. You can also put a block between your thighs. All right, this one's a little simpler. If you have a curve toward the right, we're gonna focus on pressing as we bend toward the left. If the curve goes to the left, levoscoliosis, we wanna work on pressing more toward the right. We're gonna start with the right. So that means if you have levoscoliosis, push yourself here. Dextroscoliosis, don't push yourself as much. Arms are overhead, deep breath in. Exhale, bend. Reach toward the right, press your hips toward the left. Squeeze your thighs, Press down through your feet. Push the top of your head toward the ceiling. As you exhale, you can bend deeper. Working against that curvature toward the left. If you have the curve toward the right, don't accentuate it more. Just focus more on strength. One more breath here. And then inhale back to the middle. All right, now switching sides. If you have that curve toward the right, time to push yourself as we lean left. If the curve is to the left, don't push yourself as much. Focus more on strength. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, lean more toward the left. Squeeze your abs. So as you inhale, think about lengthening your body, getting taller. As you exhale, you can go deeper into the bend. Just make sure that you're maintaining strength through your hips and core. One more breath. And then back to the middle. Standing back bend. We want to stay as neutral as possible here. If you have the block, continue to use it. Push down through your feet. Think about staying motionless through your low back down. Try to keep your low back flat. Lift your chest up toward the ceiling, toward the sky. Squeeze your arms back. As you inhale, press the top of your head further away from your shoulders. As you exhale, squeeze your arms further back. Remember, want to stay as neutral as possible here. Make sure you're not leaning toward one side or the other. Keep the hips neutral. Continue to push down through both feet. One more breath here. And then release. Okay, final exercise is just a standing mountain pose. So we're gonna work on keeping your spine, keeping everything as neutral as possible. Start with your feet facing straight forward. If you have the block, you can use it. It's a great tool. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. So I want you to make sure that your feet are level. If you have lines on your mat like I do, this makes it easy. So make sure that my feet are level with one another, facing forward at the same angle. I'm gonna push down through my feet, check in with my hips, check in with my stomach. Make sure that everything is facing straight forward. Push the top of the head up toward the ceiling, get as tall as you can. Make sure that you're facing straight forward, that you're not looking toward the left or to the right, but again, straight forward. Palms face forward. Shoulder blades pull lightly toward one another. As you inhale, top of the head presses up toward the ceiling. Lift your ribs away from your hips, getting as tall as possible. And as you exhale, squeeze your abs, squeeze your core, squeeze your thighs. 3 breaths here, just working on the best posture you can possibly have. Keeping everything neutral, everything as even as possible. Just doing the best you can. It might not be perfect, it might be impossible for it to be perfect, but do your best. Before you go, if you have scoliosis, I'm gonna give you a few tips to make sure that you can continue to work on your scoliosis even if you do a normal yoga class. So number 1, just reinforcing what we've already done. Make sure you don't go deeper into the curve. We don't wanna make it worse. So know which way you should be leaning, right? The side bending, and know that you should be twisting in the opposite direction. If you have dextroscoliosis, curving to the right, side bend left, but twist toward the right. If you have levoscoliosis, meaning the curve is to the left, typically in lumbar spine, we want to make sure that we bend toward the right, but we twist toward the left. This is going to help you work against the curve. Second, ideally, you want to do more work against the curve. You want to do a 2-to-1 ratio. So, you know, it'd be great if you could spend twice as much time in a side bend working against the curve as it is working with the curve, but that's not always available. That's not always an option. So that leads me to option number 3, or kind of point number 3 to remember here, which is you want to push yourself harder against the curve than you are when you're working with your curve. Don't push yourself as hard. You don't want to really work on mobility as much when you're working with your existing curve, because you don't need to increase mobility there. You need to increase mobility in the opposite direction. So it sucks. It's something that you have to constantly be aware of, but we all have these little differences that we have to keep in mind, these little things that are unique to us in our body that we have to work around. And this is just something that you can do to make sure that you're getting the most out of your yoga workouts. All right, if you enjoyed that video, I want to invite you to take my free 7-day challenge. This is a beginner's yoga for men workout series featuring 15-minute workouts and daily emails to help hold you accountable and motivated. This is a great way to learn yoga, to get started, and it's totally free. Sign up at the first link in the description below. When you sign up, I'm also going to give you a free bonus video, a previously members-only workout called Head and Neck Essentials. This is a 25-minute workout that's perfect for relieving tension in your head, neck, and shoulders, useful for pretty much any situation. So go ahead and sign up for that 7-day challenge. Do it right now. Click that link in the description. I'll wait. And if you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe. We put out new videos every week. And if you like the video, be sure to like the video, click the like button, and leave a comment if you have any feedback or questions. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you in the next video.